Okay, I just record from the scratch to make sure that you have all that steps together for the explore the classification with Azure Machine Learning Designer. First of all, let me share my screen. Okay, here you already have your subscription, resource group, regions, key vault, and you have your you already create your compute, and also you have your cluster as well. So right now we want to create our data set. On the expand the left pan here and select create, and here we select to create, for example, diabetes data. And in the description, you can say that this is a diabetes data. We just select our data type as a tabular. And then from the new web file, we open to get our new web file. Let me get the data from that specific data type. It is from the HTTP, from that URL. Then we say next. We don't change anything here. We don't change anything in our setting, just on the column set, we select only first file has been header. And say next. We don't change anything here, and then we create our first data set for the classification. The next step is create our pipeline in Designer and then load our data to our canvas. In the Azure Machine Learning Studio, looking for the Designer, click on that and select to create a new pipeline. On the data set, you can see your new data set added on top of your data. Just drag and drop on your canvas. Then we need to actually add the new component to clean our data and find the missing data, normalization our data, and then split and create our training model. So the next step is to add our transformation. Before we do that train model, we need to apply some pre-processing transformation for our data. Under the components, select the column in the data set. Looking for the select column in data set, drag and drop here, then connect the input or diabetes data entry to our select column in data set. We do the edit column here. We wait to make sure that we can have a choice to select by name. We select everything here on our data set, and here we after we double click on the column in data set and access to the setting pane on the right, we do the edit our column and add all that column and remove the patient ID. We don't select the patient ID. And then save. The next step is find the normalized data and place it into our canvas below our select column in dataset. Connect the output of the bottom of your select column in dataset module into the input of your normalization data. And then connect. Double-click on the normalization data modules to view the setting of the normalization data. And set the transformation method in a min and max. We don't change anything on the second column. For the edit, we edit by the rules, and here we just list all the information that we need for that column. I come back to my source and find the source of the column and do the copy and leave it here. You can see that the first step of column to transform is set up. We close this one. I leave it as the auto save here, means that our data it will be saved automatically. Then we can here run our first pipeline or the first step of our pipeline and create the new name. And say, for example, pipeline job 1, and then and create the new one and then submit. And okay, you can see that if I just do the submit without selecting our runtime setting, it means that I didn't select the column type or the cluster that we need, the computer type, sorry. We cannot do anything. We can come back here, select our compute cluster and select one of the compute cluster that you already have, and then say review and submit. We have to wait for some minutes to run its finish. Then we can check the status of the job, that it's selecting the job under our asset. For selecting our MS, I just leave it as a pipeline job 1, okay? If you go to view the details, you can see the detail of this job is creating. Right now, we want to add the training modules to our component. We come back to the to our designer and select for the split data. And just drag and drop under the normalization. And in this exercise, you are working through the steps of extend our diabetes training pipeline, okay? And where we come back to our designer diabetes pipeline in our asset library, we are on the left. We looking for the split data module, and we just drag and drop under our normalization data. And then on the select our split data. After you drag and drop here, we just add the result of our normalization data. We select our left node and add our normalization transformation to and add it to our split. And then in the same time, we're looking for two class regression, a logistic regression model, and add it here. And then add it here. So double click on our split data and we just do some modification on this part. We just keep the splitting mode on the rows, and then instead of the 50-50 just say 7, and we don't change our randomized split. And for the random seed we select 1, 2, 3 for example, and the and satisfaction split is false. We don't change anything here. Then we just save, come back to our asset library and place a train module to the canvas of our canvas under the split data right now. Looking for the train data. Just drag and drop under our split data, okay? And in that model, we are training our predict and predict the diabetics values. So select the train module and modify the setting with the label column. And the name, it will be diabetics. Okay, we just select the diabetics and save it. And the diabetic label, the model will be predict in the class of 0 and 1. So we need to train the module and using one of the classification algorithms. Am I right? And we have, there are two possible classes when we needed a binary classification algorithm. And for this one, we need a binary classification algorithm. That's why we select two class logistic regression component from the campus and leave it on the left side of our split data modules above our train model, okay? And we do the connection, connect the output of that two classification logistic regression to our train model. We just come back to and then save it. We just come back to our pipeline. We can see that the first pipeline is still do the configuration and setting. We just, because we want to be a little bit much more faster, I provide this step a little bit sooner. So after we right now we can say that we are ready to run the training pipeline and train the model. That's why we can select the configuration and submit and use the existing experiment name that we use. I just select that pipeline job 1 and just I can go through the submit again and submit the new job. In this new job, it's ready to run the training pipeline and train the model. And we have to wait for the experiment to run and finish, and maybe take several minutes. I will close this one. Wait for this one to reload. The new one is come up. You can go through this step one by one, wait for them, and make sure that they will be, your job is finished, and then start to do the rest of your pipeline training. Okay. After we finish after we submit our configuration and we wait for the experiments run to finish, we can check the job by selecting under the asset, or we can go through the view detail. It doesn't matter which one you select. We can go through the job as well and see the job and select the job, and from this option to see the same result, or we can go through the view the job and it will be pop up in new page and show you how is that work. The next step is right now we have to because I don't want to stay 5 more minutes between our this tab, and we add the score model here, and the output of our train model go to our score model, and also from our split data the result of our data set come as a data set to our score model as well. Okay, and just waiting to finish that stuff. Okay, when we return to our designer and open our diabetes training pipeline, from our asset library here, under the component, we select our score model modules and connected the output of score model modules to the score data set left into the evaluation model. Okay. Right now we have to evaluate model. After you add the evaluation model here, you don't need to change anything on that. We stay in whatever that is that. Just make sure that Just make sure that your design will be exactly the same as that I created. And then we have to configure and submit our pipeline with the evaluation data again. Close the old one. Configure and submit. I will go to the jobs if it doesn't pop up there. And then select my job to see that what is okay. It means that it doesn't work. I have to back to my designer, select my pipeline that I created, and select configure and submit. Here, we just in that one run the pipeline using the existing experiments that I have as a pipeline job one, and then do the review and submit. We have to wait for the experiment run to finish. Check the status of our job with the selecting of the job, or we can go through here and find the they said that view detail, and you can see the detail of the job that is created. Yeah, we just go through the job, pipeline job. It shows that it is running. So when I go through that one, I can see that. Oh my God, I closed something wrong. I have to back to my designer. I select my designer that I created here. Then go to my job and select my pipeline job. It looks like it's running. And you can see that even I close my page, it's still working. I just wait to make sure that this evaluation model is finished. And after it's finished, we will go to the preview of data for the evaluation result to view the performance of our metrics. That metrics can help our data scientists assess how well the model predicts based on the validation data. And I just wait. Okay. Right click, we can go for the preview of data, preview of the result, and we can see, we can have some preview of the result of our evaluation model. And right now, I want to show you how you can create the inference pipeline. Locate the menu above the canvas. You can see that okay, here it's show me the create my pipeline. Let me close this one. Create. We want to create in time. we create a real-time inference pipeline. We select that option. As soon as you click on that one, we want to create a new pipeline. I just say that I just change the name, for example, to I just name as a diabetics or predict diabetics real-time interface. It will be create a new pipeline for us. You can see that at the end of your canvas, the web service output is added. So we are going to do some of the change in our pipeline, add a web service input component for the new data to be submitted, and replace our diabetes data set with the entry data manually. So first of all, we delete that one. We just come to the web web service input, and then we select manually enter the data. And right now we have to connect them together. First of all, the data may be manually entered as a data set to your pipeline, or maybe it come up from the web services. We just connect them together, and here we just remove our evaluate. We just move this one here, and then delete this one, and we just remove our evaluation model, and we use the component as a execute Python script, and whatever is the result of our score model, it come up as a first data set to our execute Python script, and then we will go through the output, web service output as the input. Okay. So right now we have to do some of the changes here. We have to edit the column in selected, and just add the okay, here we have to enter our data manually as the entry level to our pipeline, to make sure that the pipeline it works properly. We come over to the other step and add, copy and paste some of the data here, and save and close. And we do some, and after we connect the new entry level model, the same as database, we have to input data to the select column in the dataset modules, and in the inference pipeline include the evaluate module, which is not useful. That I said when predicting from the new data, so we delete the modules. The evaluation means that the result of that pipeline that it's already created. But when we want to use the data as an entry data manually, or enter data with the web service input, the evaluation of data, it doesn't make sense. So the output of your score models include all the input features and the predictable label of probability score to limit the output only for the prediction and probability. So we delete the connection between our score model and web service output because of that, and add one execute Python script module to replacing all the default Python script with some of the code that is provided for us. Just come over and copy that code. Come to the script, Control A, delete, Control V, and save it. Okay. And then connect the output of a score model module to the data set 1 and input the execute Python script and connect the result of the output to the execute Python script module for the web service output that we already did. And then we connected to then we have to verify everything that we did and run our pipeline as a new experiment, okay? This is the new experiment because we use the interface pipeline. That's why we just call this one say that pipeline job 2, and then we have to say next. Here we just use exactly the same cluster. It will be okay. The workspace it will be blob store and say submit. Right now, we have to wait. This pipeline is completed and get our result, okay? We just check the jobs. Okay, you can see that when you execute or configure and then submit the new pipeline, everything start from the scratch with the new data, and it should be goes through all the steps again. Right now, we are part of the job path, and we are actually check the job platform that's selected, and we select our new job experiments that it's run our predict diabetes job. When the pipeline has completed, we then check our execute Python script module and select the preview data and select the result data set to see the predict label and probability for the patient observation in the input data. Your interface pipeline predict whether or not patients are a risk for diabetes based on their features. We will be ready to publish our pipeline that client application can use it, okay? After you have created the interface pipeline, whether or not the patient are at the risk for diabetes based on their features. And after you have created and test an interface partner for real-time interfacing, you can publish it as a service for your client. That I said, I just say this part twice to make sure that you get what is exactly we are looking for. We just wait for several minutes to make sure that this job is done and everything are configured properly. Okay, for some reason, our select column in dataset doesn't work properly. Whenever you see the error, just open that error to see that the output or log to give you more data about that area. You can see that this one, it doesn't work properly. So let me find out that what is the issue is. Okay, I have for any changes here, we can just see, we can have just overview and see the parameters. But if we need any changes to or edit our columns, we have to back to our design. Select the dialectics one and see what is the issues on our derivative data. We can see our data set intermanually connected to our select column in data set and even from the warehouse. Okay, just double click, edit the column. Okay, if you remember that, we need here, I think we have to remove the we need to remove our derivatives here, but we don't have that option. Then configure and even you miss one part, you get an error because the configuration is not compatible with your environment. Okay. Just looking for the view then. Okay. This time it looks like it's working properly for the select column in data set after we remove the derivative column. Actually, it was a very good example. You see that if anything is wrong on your job setting, you have to back to your designer and modify some of your data, and then back and configure and submit your pipeline.